fine state you're in this morning. What on earth did you get up to last night?
And welcome to KingdomCome Deliverance. What we're doing through right here is the beginning of
Nothing much.
Kingdom Come, and
Me and the lads
kind
were
of
just having a chat in
generating
the
some
town.
of your beginning stats.
Some wayfarer stopped by. He was telling us what's going on in the world, and I lost track of time.
Well, I hope he didn't fill your head with nonsense. Well, I've got a feeling there's something you're not telling me. And it's connected with that scratch on your hand. And that suspicious-looking character with a sword who turned up in town recently.
No.
So, this is actually kind of nice because what it's doing is it's setting your two
teaching me
starting attribute points that you get.
Archery? Do you want to become a poacher? Have you any idea of the punishment for that? And where did you get a bow, anyway?
Oh, come on. I've no interest in poaching. It's just a bit of fun.
Christ, give me strength. Just don't do
And
anything stupid.
as you can tell, everybody
For
thinks
love
that
of
Henry,
God.
our main character,
Promise.
is a bit of an
I
idiot.
promise.
Do you need me to do anything, Ma?
Ah, you're a good lad. But I'm fine. It's your father needs helping with that sword.
Did Matthew and Fritz come looking for me?
No, I haven't seen them this morning. They shouldn't be hard to find. They'll be hanging around a tavern somewhere, as usual.
That's unfair.
Really? So where were you until the small hours last night?
I was with Bianca, of course.
You mean at Bianca's tavern? And who was there with you? No, don't tell me. Let me guess. Matthew and Fritz. Well, at least you were with Bianca. You should hold on to that one, Hal. She's a clever girl. And invite her for supper sometime. Your father's very fond of her.
Of course he is. He thinks he'll be able to wheedle the secret of beer brewing out of her.
You're right there. You'd think he was planning to become a brewer in his dotage. Still, that's your father for you. At least he's interested in something, unlike you lot. You're too busy getting into mischief to do an honest day's work. If Fritz and Matthew carry on this way, they'll wind up swinging one day. You mark my words.
Is Father angry with me for sleeping late?
He's not happy. Yesterday you promised him you'd help finish that sword for Sir Radzig. He's not as young as he was. And you know how his joints pain him. He's too proud to complain, but he needs your help, Henry.
I know. Don't worry, Ma. Of course I'll help him.
Good. He always says his knees ache when there's a storm coming. I hope they're wrong this time. It's looking like such a nice day.
Can I get something to eat?
I left some breakfast on the table. Help yourself.
I do, in fact, like the system that they use for doing interactions and the like. It's also pretty good. The inventory system's kind of interesting. Although sometimes it's hard for you to grab things because it's just like, wait, why does that not? So what I'd have to do now is I'll have to sit down. Now that I sit down here, it can't be done. I keep forgetting that that's one of the things that doesn't work quite right. No. And I should actually look into that. So, before I do anything else, I'm going to show you a brief bit. So, first off, I like how they do the map on this. Because they have it, I mean, this is a medieval map. Complete with like, oh wait, here's the farms, they're the houses. Only thing it doesn't have on it is like, here be dragons. And the inventory system is actually kind of nice because part of it is you have layers. And this is actually kind of what you'd expect. So basically, if he's not dressed, he's wearing his short clothes. He throws on his hose, his shirt, a scarf, and some old boots, and he's a decently dressed burgher. Somebody who lives in the city. I can eat a couple things. I'll eat one of those apples. I'll eat a second apple. I have nourishment. There's a couple interesting things here in the system. You have like your health, your energy. That's pretty standard. Nourishment. It's how well you're nourished at the time. Visibility is how much you stand out. The lower your visibility, the easier it is for you to sneak. Conspicuous kind of works in a similar manner, but it allows you to be noticed. If you have a low conspicuousness and you like walk through a town, people don't pay attention to you. Noise is how much noise you make when you move around. Strength, agility, vitality, and speech are your stats. Charisma is interesting because it is a stat, but the stat is based on what you're wearing. Lentil soup, another apple, bread rolls, another apple. Don't got any. And there's a pot. These pots are kind of. There's something that's kind of gamified where you can come in and wherever there's a big hearth like this, you'll find a pot, and it looks kind of like a lentil soup, and then you can eat the lentil soup. The inside of the building's interesting. It's not necessarily that different from what you'd have. You have basically a storeroom in the back where you'd have food. I mean, there's lots and lots of apples, a chest, more apples. I mean, it seems kind of silly, then there's carrots, onions. So you basically have a basic, basic storeroom. There's roofs on this, so in some of the buildings, you're going to have a ladder that goes up to the top floor. And because I don't see any beds in here, I'm pretty sure that there are some pallets, some sleeping pallets up there. Now, these are squared off logs. It looks like they started to whitewash it. They're probably stuck. And then more vegetables. The woodshed. The other woodshed. Probably something to act as a cellar. The wall. The wall is interesting because you don't see walls set up like that very often, but it would be a good way to set one up. And a sharpening stone, and we go talk to Dad.
What's the matter with you, Henry? Didn't you hear me calling you?
Sorry, I had to go and deal with something.
Well, it's no great tragedy. Anyway, we've a lot of work to do today. I'm finishing the sword for Sir Radzik, and I need your help.
With what?
I'm running out of charcoal. Run to the market and buy a bag from the charcoal burner.
I'll need some money then.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Kunesh still owes me for an axe, a hammer, and the nails I sold him a month ago. Not to mention his debt from before. Go and tell him to pay up, at least for the axe and hammer, and then use the money to buy the charcoal.
Kunesh? That drunkard? That'll be fun.
Well, you're a big lad now. I'm sure you can manage. If not, tell him that next time I'll come myself and personally use that hammer to bang those nails into his arse.
Sure, I'll be happy to hear it. Is that all?
Not quite. The Chamberlain at the castle has the crossguard for Sir Radzig's sword, which I had engraved in Sasau.
You want me to go and pick it up? All right. Money, charcoal, crossguard. Got it.
And ale. Stop off at the tavern on your way home. I know you'll be going there anyway to see that girl of yours. But make sure the ale's still cool from the cellar when you get back.
Her name is Bianca.
Right, so make sure Bianca draws me a nice cool one. Run along now, work won't wait.
So what you saw back there was kind of the setup for how the social system works. When you go to talk to somebody, you can try a speech check on them where you're trying to be, trying to be helpful or, duplicitous, depending. You have the thing where it had like the little heart symbol, and that's charisma.
I'm with you, Henry.
And that's based off of how you look. So
Father sent me.
if you're
With
dressed
forging a
up to the
sword for Sir
nines,
Radzig.
you're
The
very
Chamberlain
well
has the
dressed, you're
crossguard
very
on
well,
top. Father had
sorted
them
out,
engraved in Sasau.
it's
Aye,
easier for you to
they're
pass
here.
those charisma
Chamberlain
checks.
gave them to us for you. We looked them over. Beautiful work. I've never seen anything so fine.
I can't wait to see the sword. Just make sure you don't botch it.
When did I ever botch anything?
Where shall I start?
Ah, shut up and give me what I want, or I'll kick your ass this evening.
Right away, your lordship.
Magnificent. Shame I can't keep the sword for myself. Well, I better go if we're to get the job done by this evening.
Godspeed. See you later in the tavern.
You certainly will. After today's work, the ale might even be on me.
Now, I am going to comment a bit on the way these guys are dressed. This is actually a really good representation of how they'd be dressing. They have on gambesons, which are the padded jackets. Over that, they have their mail. Over that, they call them Waffenfrock in the game. But basically, it's just to show allegiance. Then gauntlets, maybe a coif, helmets. They have swords at their, at their waists. But as you can see, there's at least one polearm just sitting there, which would be what they would normally be using. Now, this game, getting money is a pain for a while. But one of the things you can do is pick up components. In this case, these are herbalistic components. And this is a sally port. This is a way to get into the interior quickly without having to go through any of the big gates. Now, why am I picking up all the herbs? Well, because I'm going to sell them once I get enough. As you can see, you have kind of the... That's right, that's a button to jump. Now, I know you're going, wait, dandelions? Yeah, dandelions. And as you can see, I got a level in herbalism. This game, everything you get, all the levels and everything, they come out of you just doing stuff. So if you want to get better at sword fighting, you either find somebody to teach you sword fighting, or you go out and do sword fighting. If you want to get better at picking locks, you pick locks. If you want to get better at speech, you talk to people. Everything kind of bases off of what you do. Then you have your level. And as your level comes up, as you can see, I know practically nothing. I got level in herbalism, and that's it at the moment. But each stat and your main level have basically feats that are based off of them. So the strength ones give you more carrying capacity. They allow you to do more damage when you hit people. Things like that. Defense makes your armor better. It makes it easier for you to wear armor, so your armor has less weight when you're wearing it. That is a good one, and actually a pretty reasonable facsimile of what it's like to learn how to wear armor. And yeah, picking up all the little bits is kind of slow, but since this is a this portion of the game isn't timed, so you might as well take a little bit of extra time to pick up a bunch of sage, a bunch of other things, and get a few things that you can use. More interesting is that doing certain things gains you additional traits. So, like, I get herbalism for picking herbs. But if I pick enough nettles and other things that are stingy, I'll get a thing that'll increase my vitality because I've dealt with a lot of stingy plants. Oh, that's right. I have to go and talk to the guy to kick off my sword fighting lesson. The sword fighting, incidentally, is really good in this game, so when I get to it, I will talk about it a bit. We just keep going along here, grabbing a bunch. And one of the nice things about the herbalism skill, it's teaching you how to pick stuff. But as you level it up, you pick stuff better. So there's like 4 different nettles here, but now I pick them all up at once because they're close enough, and I have enough levels in herbalism to do that. I have a couple of mods in this. One of them is one about sorting. It makes it easier for you to find stuff, and there are a couple of things that I run mostly to make it easier for me to deal with some of the idiosyncrasies of how the game is. I don't mind throwing a bunch of mods into a game if those mods make the game better by, giving you more options or, fixing UIs or things like that. I kind of don't like games that give you fully cheat items. But at the same time, like when I play Fallout, I like mods that give you access to different weapons, as long as it kind of fits in. Like, I don't want to pick up a gun that fires 38 rounds that does more damage than the 44 revolver. And in this game, I don't want a sword that's way better than anything else you're gonna find, because that's really not fun. But if you have something that makes sorting your inventory better, I'm fine with that. If it's something that makes it so that you don't have to go through the you don't have to go through the animation of ducking down and picking every time you pick up something, that's fine. Because normally what happens in the game in base is every time you pick up something with herbalism by just like walking along here, it cuts to an animation of you leaning down, picking it up.
Hey, Pip, do you want to learn something? Have you recovered from yesterday's great wound?
It was nothing. Except Mother noticed and had a word or two to say about it.
No mother's happy when her son starts to take an interest in swords. Where there's weapons, there's death. The question is, what do you want?
I don't want to rot in this hole forever. I feel like I don't belong here. I want to live and see the world. But the world's a dangerous place, and I need to know how to protect myself.
Spoken like a man. And as it happens, today's your last chance. I have to leave. So, are you ready to get stuck in?
Yes?
All right, I'll wait on the ground by the sheepfold as usual.
So now that I've been going through, you saw, if you were reading the messages, you'll see that I got a levels in herbalism, and now I have a skill in herbalism. So resistance, it came up automatically. I've collected a vast quantity of poisonous herbs or nettles, and now I have a permanent vitality increase. And that's nice. Vitality helps a lot. So now I got two ones I can go from: flower power or horsenip. Flower power basically says, hey, if you've got enough fragrant stuff in your inventory, you get a charisma bonus. Charisma bonuses are nice because it's something that you can use to talk to somebody else and go, hey, I'm important. That's why you should help me. As opposed to charisma, where you're trying to or speech, where you're trying to convince them it's in their best interests. Flower power, you're convincing, charisma, you're convincing them that, hey, I'm important enough, you want to help me with this. So I will pick that up. And then, as you can see right now, it's already in effect. If I go to reputation buffs, here we go. So I got a permanent vitality bonus, and I got a charisma bonus from being all smelling good. So he's going to go up there. I'm going to take a different route so that I can pick some more stuff. Because you can sell all this stuff off, even the nettles, but you don't get a lot for each individual one. So you really have to run around and pick up a whole pile of them. Later on, you're going to use them for alchemy, but you'll have to wait until you learn how to read and you get stuff going. It is kind of nice that you can pick up like large groups of things at once. There are a couple quests that actually that use that to your advantage. One of them is literally a weed picking quest where you have to pick up nettles and a couple other things out of some guy's yard or out of his garden. And by doing that, it actually is pretty simple if you have enough herbalism, because you can just go, oh wait, here's some nettles here, and you cover like half the garden plot. So now he's here, and he's going to go through the basics of combat.
So, can we get started?
We can.
Good. And since today's the last time we'll be seeing each other, you can show me everything I've taught you so far. Very well. Let's start with the basics. Keep moving. Your life depends on it. All right. Now try to hit me. You have to put your weight into your attack. If you just fiddle around, you'll get nowhere. Try slashing from different sides. Unpredictability is the key. Never repeat yourself.
So if you see that little compass with the lines on it,
Now you're getting
that's basically what angle you're attacking from at the beginning.
The point of the blade is for stabbing. Try it a few times. All right. Nice. Good. Let's try something else. One strike I can fend off without a sweat. But if you chain your strikes, I'll have a much harder time. As soon as you land one blow, follow it with another. All right. Not bad. Again. Good. Once again. I don't know about you, but I'm tired and thirsty. Remember though,
So that's your basics of swordplay. nothing's really wrong with what he says. You move in, you use how you use the point, how you use your body motion to do more damage. So now I'm just picking up some of this stuff to make money. And as you can see, I mean, they actually went pretty well with how everything is set up. So you can see, yeah, you'd have a barn like this. This is how the doors would be. You'd have a packed floor on this. You can use the water to wash yourself off. When we get a look inside a house, I'll show you what it is. Now, the one thing that they've definitely said is a little unrealistic in the game is building size. The buildings are about 10 to 20% bigger, something like that. They're laid out correctly. They're just not the right size. And in all honesty, they did it for the right reasons. If they didn't use this size, if they made them, completely historically accurate in sizing, it kept breaking the pathing. So when you're making a game and you're doing historic realism, if you can't get historic realism for whatever reason, at least have it be for the right reason, which is I need gameplay to work. So we can jump over this. And I'll demonstrate a bit about the shopping. Nutrition kind of covers eating, but you don't have to worry about water in this game. And
fabric, brocade, satin.
he is a trader. We'll talk to him.
God be with you.
And we'll do some trading. So I can switch between buying and selling. I don't want to sell any of those. I'm going to keep all my food. So now I have a bunch of I'm going to throw all I can into selling. Making money in this game is an interesting thing. So now you notice I'd be asking for more money than he has. So what do? I come back here and go to the buy section to see what I can buy from him. So there are kits. There's also charcoal. In all honesty, getting a couple of the kits is worth it at the beginning, because the kits are what are used to do most of your repairs. Let's see. Will I get enough wealth to do this? I think I'll have just enough. No, I won't. So now I go to my basket and go, okay, I can't afford both of these. So I'll return the cobbler's kit. And now I'm just a little bit above what I can do. So now what do I look at? I could buy some charcoal. Or I could try to buy, a weapon. Yeah, I don't need horseshoes. You know what? I'm just going to go to the basket. And then I will close the deal and just take all of his wealth.
Can we do something about the price?
Why not?
And so
Here, with a little something on top for a good measure.
My word. Thank you kindly.
So now what I've done is I've traded with him, but at a lower cost. Now that doesn't help my skills very much, but what it does do is gives me a reputation advantage here, because I'm seen as now generous. So now, I can go around. I can do it again and talk to a different trader. Although I think I'm just going to pick up enough that I'll count as being fragrant again. Although I keep forgetting that this area is also very, very well stocked with flowers. St. John's wort, sage, valerian. These things were common in both medicine and in what would be alchemy. The alchemy system is really kind of nice once we get to it. My only complaint is that at least with me, it sometimes is kind of tricky to get something to pick up. But that should be enough. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Kunesh. And more than likely we'll kick off a fight with him because he's an angry drunk. And by kicking that off, we'll be able to... Where is he? There he is.
God be with you, Kunesh.
What do you want?
My father sent me to get the coin you owe him for the axe, hammer, and nails.
I've got nothing. Clear off.
You know you owe father for a lot more than just the axe and hammer. If he went to the bailiff about it, you'd be in deep water. At least pay for the tools if you can't pay for everything.
I told you I have no coin, you bastard. Get the hell out of here, or I'll use the axe on you.
Look, I know things aren't easy. Your wife ran off, booze is dear these days, and you're as much use as a square wheel. It's no wonder you're short of coin. But a debt's a debt, and I can't leave here without something.
You son of a whore. How dare you speak to me like that? Didn't your thieving father teach you any manners? No? Well, I'll teach you then. Sure.
And now we're going to start the fight.
Martka. Well landed.
Oh man, my timing is way off on this game right now.
Missed.
Wait, what the heck? And now I'm stronger. So anytime you do any kind of fighting or anything, it will increase the stats that you're using. And now my unarmed's getting better.
Bloody hell.
kind of annoyed that every time I try to go forward, he can grapple me.
You're going to cry now. Shit.
All right, there we go.
Enough! Enough! I give up. Take what you want. It's not much, but it's all I have. You understand?
Okay, now I got Kunesh's key. So now I'm going to pick up some of his stuff. He puts his axe here, which I pick up. I'm now going to go inside his place, since I have the key. And then in here, I can unlock this and take the hammer and nails. So now that I have the hammer and nails, I'm going to go outside. And then I'm going to go and talk to the charcoal seller and do that to make some sales. Because
God be with you. God be with you.
so I need to buy 9, 10 charcoal. Now, I have some money for it. All he has is charcoal. So, but I can sell him stuff. So I can go, well, I have some. I'll sell the nettles to him too, because I don't need the nettles. I'll sell him the axe, the hammer, and the nails. So now I can get 3.6, which is not bad. I'll sell him, yeah, 2 sage, and then I'll get rid of some of this. I keep 10 of each on me. That should still be enough to keep the... So now I can haggle. So in the haggling...
Aye?
In the haggling, I can go up and down. So I'm asking for money from him, because I'm giving him more than he's taking from me. So I go up to 13. I go, hey,
Agree?
pay me 13 for it.
Close. Drop the price a bit more and we'll shake on it.
Now he should go up to 12. I'll cut to 12 and a half.
Aye, that would do it.
So I got 12 and a half groschen, and I've got the charcoal. So now I'll show you something. This actually comes up. So things get damaged. So I have a tailoring kit, which I can use to repair my shirt and my scarf. My boots are a little damaged, but everything else is good. So I use that to repair, and using that to repair gives me a skill, which is maintenance. As maintenance goes up, you get, it allows you to repair stuff. You can repair stuff in the field for pretty cheap, but you only can repair so much. You can only repair about the top 30%. After that, you need to actually go to a tailor, blacksmith, or cobbler to get something fixed. So now I can look at so with the fast travel system, Scout's actually kind of useful, because when you fast travel, what ends up happening is, okay, let's see what we got here. Gravedigger. Stronghold is definitely worth it. Using less stamina when blocking is a big thing because you block a lot with a shield if you fight with one. And I generally will, at least in mid game, I will be running around with a shield. Now, okay, I gotta go around to talk to him.
God be with you.
Now, certain food will give you a little bit of health back. Anything that has that. So, like, more apples will do it. Water will do it. Some alcohol will do it. Some vegetables. And fruits. And then you have potions. Potions are one of the few things that's really not quite historically accurate. The other nice thing is whenever you find something here, it will show up as a it will show up on your paper doll. However, and here's a big however, if you have layers that cover it, you may not be able to see it. I've been injured in the head. I may have to go and see about getting looked at. Do I have... I think I have some more apples. I do have some more apples on me. So, you know what? I'll eat those. That'll give me some more nourishment. And... my health will have gone up a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit.
Mixed goods, handy implements, and machines of every
All right, so now I'm going to go into the into the tavern, and we can talk to people.
You can't be serious, Dutch. Insulting our king.
What insult? I say only the truth. Sigismund has done only what he had to.
And so, yeah, here you go. Here's your political political talk at the bar.
He had to invade with his army of Tartars and besiege Kuttenberg.
Why not? What is this Wenceslas for a king? The empire is falling asunder in his hands. The German counts elected Ruprecht of the Palatinate as king because your Wenceslas would not go to their deeds even.
German counts, traitors.
Now even the Pope
God be with you,
is
Henry.
opposed to your king.
I'm with you, Matthew.
So are such lords as
What's going on here?
Rosenberg.
Deutsch is spouting shit. What? Just listen and you'll hear for yourself.
Someone has to bring order and reunite the empire.
What do I care about the Austrians? And nowadays, not even the devil himself can keep up with all the popes. Which is the rightful pope? The one in Rome or the one in Avignon?
Do not blaspheme, Alex.
No, it's true, though. Wenceslas is the king of Bohemia. Bohemian nobles are on his side. To hell with Rosenberg and his cabal. Sir Radzig is Wenceslas' commander-in-chief. He stayed loyal to the king. And if he heard you talking like this, he would have you whipped like a dog.
Your Diet will soon have nothing left to rule. Jobst had to sell Luxembourg to help your king. South Bohemia is with Sigismund
And don't forget about Kuttenberg, where Germans like you kissed Sigismund's feet to keep their heads.
Yes, but
Goodman Deutsch, this is pointless. Let us talk of more pleasant things.
My words exactly.
Deutsch has gone too far. Wenceslas is our rightful king.
Deutsch is an idiot. But what can you do? I might have an idea. Deutsch deserves to be taught a lesson. Doesn't he, Fritz?
You're too right, Matthew. Should give him a proper hiding.
Are you mad? Do you want to end up in the pillory? Don't listen to Fritz. I've got a better idea. Deutsch was talking such shit, it made me think of that huge parliament. You know, the one right next to his freshly whitewashed house. You think we should redecorate for him? Count me in.
Well, I'd rather torch it, to be honest. But throwing some chairs will do.
What do you say, Henry?
But I was going to get ale for Father and a few other things. We're finishing Sir Radzig's sword.
Come on. Doing a few handfuls of manure is not going to take all day.
And it's our duty to defend the honor of our king.
So, Hal, are you with us?
So yeah, they'll actually give you things where you get to make decisions.
Not that I don't want to teach the Deutsch a lesson, but I really don't have time.
Well, that's disappointing. Still, we can manage without you. Let's go, lads.
Honestly, Hal, how could you possibly chance like this?
Because I really don't want to go and deal with that. Now,
Good.
Henry, I've got your cane.
Vegetables, fruits, apples, cucumbers, onions. Come get 'em.
now, what I do like about this game is it has a humongous codex that talks about everything as they go along. It's practically history lessons in here at times, talking about things like school, safe conduct, toilets, historical events, different things in society, even historical things to go with it. For instance, Wenceslaus was actually the name of the son of Charles IV. Yeah, allergies are acting up. But you have all this stuff about him, and Sigismund, who also was Charles' son. You have your tutorials here which talk about how the basic game stuff works, but most of these other ones, it's all about the actual things that you do. Now, I just went and washed myself in that trough. Trough washing isn't great, but here's your girl Bianca.
God save, my lovely. You're looking well
But
today.
after washing, I look a whole lot better.
You too, handsome. What brings you here?
Your beauty, of course.
Oh, noble sir. I'm as honored as any simple maid can be. And apart from my beauty, what else might your worship desire?
I need ale for Father.
A pitcher as usual?
Aye. Bring me a cool one from the cellar.
But of course. Here you are.
Thanks.
It's on me today. You can pay me back this evening.
Out of the question. Here you go. And this evening I'll have something more for you.
I can't wait.
Thanks. You'll have something to look forward to this evening.
You too. Oh, by the way, that shifty-looking fellow was asking after you.
Vanya?
I suppose. He's a man who makes his coin robbing honest wayfarers. I'm sure of it. I'll be happy when he's gone for good. But what in heaven's name are you up to with him?
He promised to teach me how to use a sword.
What use would that be to you?
Enough. You sound just like Father. I'll be going now. See you this evening.
Hal, I got something special for you.
Is that so? Now what would that be?
Your favorite, Savior Schnapps.
Really? You're an angel.
I hope you'll thank me properly later.
You bet I will.
So, Savior Schnapps in the game are actually part of the game mechanics. When you have Savior Schnapps and drink them, it acts as a save point. Now, sleeping also acts as a save point, so you don't actually need Savior Schnapps to save your game. But in the middle of the day, you can save your game by drinking to save your schnapps. Incidentally, drinking in the middle of the day will also help your drinking skill. Why is there a drinking skill, you say? Well, the drinking skill allows you to actually drink more, have a shorter or no hangover. Although, at the beginning of the game, it's quite often, if you do a lot of drinking, you will have a hangover. Always going to need money, so I always pick up the weeds for sale. But now, honestly, what we're going to see here after the talk.
Yeah, about time. Have you got everything I wanted?
I have charcoal, the hilt, and the ale. We can start.
Good job. Let's have it then, son. Well done. Right. Let's see what kind of job the master in Sasau did for us. Look at that, lad.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I call craftsmanship.
When dealing with things like that.
Mean? Damned if I know. Doesn't look like Czech to me. Latin, maybe?
That intricate kind of crafting would not be done by a blacksmith. It'd be done by a jeweler or an engraver.
We got the charcoal? Good. We'll fire up the forge. We'll put it all together.
Now, what we're looking at right now is they're probably doing a temper, because it looks like the blade's in shape. Oh, no, wait.
I heard some gossip about what happened to Deutsch. I expect you know something about it.
Maybe.
Maybe? Someone threw dung at Deutsch's freshly lime-washed house, maybe? And maybe those cronies of yours had something to do with it?
That Deutsch was talking treason in the tavern about Sigismund and the king. He got what he deserved.
Oh, got what he deserved, did he? Look, I don't know if you're mixed up in this or if it's just those friends of yours. It's all the same to me. But I have a trade to run. The German pays well. And having my son in the pillory helps nothing and nobody, least of all the king. Do you understand?
Yes.
Look me in the eye, Henry. Do you understand?
I understand.
Good. Then we'll never have this conversation again.
What, so you think it's right to let traitors speak ill of the king?
Does that boy ever listen to a word I say? So Deutsch spouts rubbish, so what? You might win a fight with violence, but you'll never win an argument. Remember, Henry, if you want to convince someone that they're wrong, try using your mouth, not your fists.
The furnace is ready.
Right, we'll do the grip.
So, what they're doing here is actually
I'll heat it up. When I take it out,
is actually the proper way for you to fit something like that if you don't have something like a router, and router's a modern invention. What they're doing is they're heating it up hot enough that it'll char the wood. So then they take it out.
Do it.
He takes the wooden hilt, pushes it up there. It starts to burn. He pushes it in, pulls it out,
Good.
Knocks out
Once
the ash, goes again. A couple times, and it'll get far enough up.
That's it. Done. Now file it down so it sits well in the hand. I'll prepare the guard.
He quenches it. Guard will fit down. It should fit tightly. Just using a knife to...
Father, why did you leave Prague?
To shape
Who
it.
ever heard of a master swordsmith making horseshoes in a village?
I had my reasons, Hal. And here I have your mother and you. Why would I want any other life?
Do you remember Emperor Charles?
I do. Life was good under his reign.
Better than now.
He built half of Prague, and a score of castles, had a bridge made over the Moldau, and founded a university. And all without a war. He knew how to rule.
Better than Wenceslas.
Better by far. But Wenceslas doesn't have it easy. It's hard to step into the shoes of someone whose like is born only once 1,000 years.
What about Sigismund?
Do you think Charles would have brought an army down on his own people like Sigismund? No. Wenceslas may not be the equal of his father, but Sigismund, he brings shame to the royal name. How's it going? Give it here, and we'll put it all together.
Now, this is the one thing that doesn't sit quite right. Just mostly because that thing, the pommel's mostly being held on by friction. Normally what would happen is it'd be long enough that it'd go completely through the pommel, and then you'd
Good day to you, Teresa.
pound over the end like a rivet.
Will you fetch them for me, Hal? They're in the trunk in the living room.
Henry, you all right?
We'll go and get the nails. You know what? I'll just take everything. And now I'll show you how the potions work. So I'm going to eat one. This is the marigold potion. It gives you 30 health. And now you can see that little countdown on it, and you can see my health is slowly going up. So the red line is health, and the yellow line is stamina. Your stamina is limited by your health, but your stamina is much more fluctuating.
Here are those nails you wanted.
Thanks. So, how's Bianca?
She's fine. Why do you ask?
Just wondering, will you be going to the dance this evening?
We will.
Maybe we'll see each other there. Anyway, mustn't keep you. I'll be on my way. That sword is truly beautiful.
And
Fine lass, eh? Now stop staring at her and come and see this. It's time for the trial by fire. We did a fine job.
I would expect nothing less from such a renowned swordsmith.
now,
Those days are gone, sir.
there is
You haven't lost
this
your
guy's outfit. There is no historical precedent for what he's wearing. It looks great, but there is nothing.
Sir, what good is a sword to a commoner?
Try it.
There's just no real historical precedent for what he's wearing. All of that, and then and Henry is not a swordsman, and
Ask
you
your
can tell
father to
because he's
show you
swinging
how.
it like a.
He knows what he's about.
Learning his trade will serve him better in life, sir.
Perhaps. But who knows what the future holds for each of us. I see that you almost have it finished.
It just needs a polish, then Henry will bring it to you.
Excellent. Fine work, very fine. A sword such as this will bring honor to its bearer. What say you, Svan?
True, Sir Radzik. If I'd have had its like back in Nicopolis, things would have worked out differently. How odd to find such an accomplished swordsmith working in a place like this. A man of his talent would have no problem making a fortune in Prague or Vienna.
You're right. It's a very long and peculiar story.
I'd be glad to listen to it over a cup of wine, but duty calls, and I must leave. Here you are. Learn from your father. He truly is a master of his craft.
I'm sure our paths will cross again.
He certainly will.
Once it's ready, send your son up to me with it. Good work, Martin.
Sure.
And now you're going, is there any story behind this? There is, and you don't
The
get to
honor
hear
is
a lot
mine,
of it.
Sir Radzig. Thank you for the hospitality.
Now, what everybody else is wearing is pretty good.
A long, peculiar history.
That was a long time ago. I might tell you about
including
it sometime,
his
but not
dad, who
today.
has on a shirt, an overshirt,
Teach me how
and
to
an
use it,
apron.
like Sir Radzig said.
Why?
Gloves
Becoming
and a
useful.
hat.
Maybe I'll
Everything
travel
is
a bit before settling down. I'd like to know more than the tavern on the green and the forge.
You know the trouble with an adventurous life, son? It can end before it gets started. I might teach you how to handle a sword, and then someone will shoot you with a crossbow as soon as you set foot outside the house.
Talk as if you've seen it happen.
A man my age has seen a lot. Being a blacksmith might bring no glory, but it has its benefits, like keeping your head on your shoulders. I want to end my days in Skalitz, here, beneath the linden tree and by your mother's side.
Well, so do I, one day. But first, I'd like to see the world, meet new people.
Meet them or beat them?
Meet. You have to keep going on about it.
Then you've no need to learn swordplay.
A messenger.
He was in a hurry. What's happened?
And here's the big, here's that beginning. Now, the formations look good, the pennants, the helmets, all that stuff, it looks great. Historically speaking, I don't know if it's all entirely accurate. It's kind of hard to go, oh, these are all exactly accurate.
Listen to me, Hal. Listen carefully. Take the sword, go into the house, and grab anything else important from the trunk. Go to the castle. Hurry.
What about you?
He's got to go find his mom.
Your mother is in the village. I'll fetch her and we'll follow right behind.
I'll go with you.
No. You'll do what I say right now. Give the sword to Sir Radzig. If anything happens, he'll take care of you. He owes me.
Quickly! We have to close the gates! Move! Come on, we're closing! Move it, people! Come on! We're running out of time! Oh, Henry! Thank God! Get inside, quick! We have to shut the gates! Get running, people! Come on!
Mind this for me.
Are you mad? You can't go back! Ah! Get through the gates!
Now, so far he's actually doing everything right. His shot against the stomach was a half sword thrust, which would give him enough to at least drop the guy. That sword cut to his back probably wouldn't have done it, but the other guy he had half sworded right in the stomach, and that would have at least knocked the breath out of him. And then he gets hit from behind, which is honestly what normally gets you killed in the battlefield. Not the attack from behind, or not the attack from in front of you, but the attack from behind. And they're set to raise the place because they're wailing on people who are down. Normally, a soldier would like, oh, he's down, kick. Okay, yeah, he's not moving. And now it's time to run.
Hal, you can still make it. Run! Find a horse. Ride to Talmberg. Tell them what's coming. Warn them.
Run by the moats! There's a path down there! Jump down from the wall and flee!
So, remember what I said about a Sally port? Well, now it's open for the game, so now he's going to run down the little path in the back. At least it's a good breastplate. The breastplate he's wearing over whatever that other thing he's wearing is at least good, but whatever he's wearing underneath it, I still have no idea what the heck it's supposed to be. So now I'm gonna run. And then get a horse, ride to Talmberg. Let's see if the dude's chasing us. Doesn't look like it. Good. Yeah, if you don't start running right away, one of the humans will come up behind you and start fighting you, and he will be a whole lot better at fighting than you are.
Don't touch me, or I'll kill you. Go to hell, you Tatar beast!
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let's start galloping, because we need to get away. And now it goes to a cutscene as it shows your escape.
Yeah.
So, the game is interesting. If you watch, you can see there's a green, there's a little green line there on the health
Left.
meter.
Talmberg is to the left, along the stream.
That green line represents the horse's stamina. So you can gallop for a certain amount of time before the horse stops, and depending on which horse you have, they'll have a different amount of stamina. I have no idea what the stats are for this particular horse that I'm riding, because this is not a horse you get to buy. Later on, when you have the money to purchase a horse, each horse will have a differing amount of stamina, load it can carry, and how fast it can run. Generally speaking, the best...
Flee!
Generally speaking, the very best is the war horse. It has the best selection between strength, speed, and stamina. There's a draftish horse, which is pretty slow, but has a lot of stamina and a lot of carrying capacity. There's a racing horse, which has a lot of speed, a decent amount of stamina, but not that great capacity. Whereas the war horse has kind of a good combination of all of them. And so right now, I'm just trying to make sure I get enough. Once I get to Talmberg, it's another cut. Yeah, hitting something from horseback is not easy, especially if that other thing is moving as well.
Quickly, everyone! Get your asses here!
Hey! And loose!
We're closing the gate!
Now, nice thing about this, and actually pretty impressive, is that a lot of these houses, a lot of the castles and stuff, there are still remnants of them in the Czech Republic. There are even videos you can find online that shows like, oh, here's where the the castle of Rate was.
Bring hot wine and bandages.
And you can actually see like the overhang where it was and like what's left of one of the towers. Perkstein, one of the later castles that you're going to go to, is the same.
Tell me, boy.
You can find it in Rate.
And where are you from? What in hell's name happened?
I've come from Skalitz. They burned it to the ground. Slaughtered everyone.
Who? Who burned it to the ground?
A huge army. They attacked without warning. And they weren't Czechs or Germans either.
Who then?
I don't know. I've never seen armor like it or heard their language. Maybe Tatars?
Tartars, you say? Well, we'll deal with that later. First, let's have a look at that leg of yours. Grit your teeth, boy. I'm gonna pull that arrow out.
So that's a war arrow, and it's not barbed, so he could have pulled it out.
You're lucky, lad. The arrow missed the bone. It only needed bandaging, and I've done that often enough before. War is a good teacher. Can you stand? There you go. Good as new.
Thank you.
If you idlers nothing better to do, get back to work. You'll have to speak to Lord Divish. Can you manage?
Now, he has a proper jacket for a nobleman.
I heard, Robard.
Nice
Tell me, boy,
inlay,
what exactly
quilting,
happened?
the buttons.
Did you see the ensigns of the attackers? And were there any more survivors?
So, I don't know what army it was, but it was huge. There were dozens of banners flying on the hill above Skalitz. And the ones who did the slaughtering spoke a strange language. They burned Skalitz to the ground. But a lot of people took refuge in the castle. I wasn't quick enough. And as I fled, they shouted from the battlements that I should come and warn you.
The soldiers the boy didn't recognize. They could be those Cumans of Sigismund's. It said they came to Hungary from the east, and now they're the core of his army. Sacking Kuttenberg must have given him a taste for stolen silver.
Skalitz is a small castle, sir. If Sigismund attacks, they can't hold.
Indeed, Sir Robard. And our small garrison would be no help, even if we could risk sending them.
You think we're next in line?
Maybe. What's your name, boy?
I'm Henry, son of the Skalitz blacksmith.
I know him. Did he make it inside the castle? I'm sorry. It's in God's hands now. No one else can help us. Anyway, thank you for risking your neck to warn us. Robard, take care of Henry. Make sure he gets something to eat and some rest.
Yes, sir.
And get all the people inside the gates. We have to prepare for the worst. Make all the necessary arrangements.
As you command, sir.
Yeah, Sir Robard is an old knight, and he is probably the most reasonable person you run into throughout the knights that you run into throughout the game. You meet others who can also train you. You can meet others who also have things, but he is probably the most reasonable and even keeled, so to speak. He doesn't really get angry. I mean, he will curse when bad things happen, but he's not much else. So now, follow him down. Now you can see I'm wounded. I need sleep. I can talk to Sir Robard now.
You've done well, lad. I'm sorry for your loss. You must be all done in. Why don't you go to the kitchen and have a good meal? Sorrow is easier to bear on a full stomach. I heard about your father. They say he was a swordsmith who moved to the countryside to make horseshoes. I can't understand why he'd waste his talents, but I'm sure he had his reasons.
Please, tell me what happened.
He had a
to
fine
Skalitz.
reputation.
Hmm?
It's a great loss.
Ah, milady. You're fortunate our good lady Stephanie of Talmberg has graced us with her presence.
My lady, I'm honored.
So this is our brave young man. Welcome, lad. Bojena here will take care of you. No doubt you're tired and hungry.
Indeed. How could he not be, poor soul? After everything he's been through, he must be as hungry as a bear, aren't you, young master? Here you are, then. Eat your fill.
And a little wine to wash it down.
Thank you, my lady.
When you're done, you can go and rest with the grooms in the Outer Bailey.
No, that won't do, Sir Robard. After all he's been through, he deserves a proper bed. Let him sleep in a lodge in the courtyard.
Certainly, milady. Young Henry here is overwhelmed by your generosity.
Yes, thank you, my lady. May God reward you for your kindness.
Eat up now. You're in capable hands, so I'll leave you to it. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, man.
When you've done, you can sleep in the bedchamber of the courtyard lodge. And don't forget to take off those filthy boots before getting into bed.
Oh, something to eat.
Why am I ill-mannered for that? Okay. Now I'm sleepy.
Oh, damn, I'm tired.
And as you can see, the game actually has a nice compass, so you can find your way around. We'll sit down here. And then I can go to sleep. Once you get into it, you can set how long you're going to sleep. You get during this, you get interrupted a lot, as in this case, Lady Stephanie comes in to ask you about things, and as you talk, you can see more of how the speech system works.
Today the patrols will be doubled. Keep your eyes peeled. If you see anything out of the ordinary, report it immediately. Understood? Yes, sir.
Yes?
It is I, Henry. Forgive the intrusion. I didn't wake you, boy, did I?
My lady, no, not at all. But what brings you here at this hour?
I thought you could do with a little wine. It's just what you need to help you sleep.
My lady, thank you. You really shouldn't. You could have sent a sermon.
I was going to, but to tell you the truth, I couldn't sleep either. I thought of you while saying my prayers. How awful it must have been for you. I came to offer you solace, to let you know you're not alone.
Thank you. Thank you kindly.
You're welcome. Now, Henry, I know this is all very new and strange for you. But I want you to feel at home here. You're not to worry about anything except getting better. God knows you've been through a terrible ordeal. I know what it is to be left alone in the world, although your loss is much greater. But with God's help, the pain will ease in time. And it can help to talk about it, if you feel like it.
I feel quite hungry.
Now, from here on, this doesn't really change too much about how the story evolves, but it does kind of set up how you are.
Terrible and unexpected. The day started just like any other. Father sent me into town on some errands.
Now,
I went to the tavern to buy ale for Father. I know it's a job for a groom, but I didn't mind, because my girl Bianca worked there. I courted her a while and we agreed to meet in the evening, but our meeting was never to happen.
Oh, dear boy.
When I'd done all the errands, I headed back home. I promised Father I'd help him with his work, and I was looking forward to it. He was forging a sword for Sir Radzig. The sword was taking shape when Sir Radzig himself came to have a look at it. He praised Father's work and said that with his smithing skills, he could easily make a living in Prague or Vienna.
You don't say.
But Sigismund's horde was already on the horizon, ready to attack the town. I saw smoke on the horizon from a village Sigismund pillaged on the way to our town, which was soon to meet the same fate.
God have mercy.
And then death descended on Skalitz. I saw Deutsch trying to defend himself. The man who'd mocked King Wenceslas as a drunkard and praised Sigismund now stood facing his soldiers with nothing but a pitchfork, trying to protect his wife and son. It was hopeless. He slaughtered them all.
That's so sad.
I ran to the castle like our neighbours to take cover, but I didn't make it. I had to find another way to save myself. The men on the battlements called down to me to flee to Talmberg and warn you. I was lucky I knew a concealed path around the castle. I I needed a horse to get to the safety of Talmberg and to warn you all.
And with all that was happening, you thought of others like a good Christian.
Then I heard a scream. It was Teresa, the mill wench. She'd been caught by a gang of Cuman savages who planned to violate her. I had Sir Radzig's sword, and even though there were several of them and they were better armed, I had to try and save her. I wanted there to be at least one person I'd helped. And I succeeded, even though it almost cost me my life. After that, I stole a horse from them and rode off.
Like a valiant knight.
I'll never forget the horror. It will haunt me for the rest of my life.
That's terrible. How could something like that happen?
God alone knows why he lets such things happen.
You poor boy. I understand your grief, but God is not to blame for the ills of this world. That is the work of Satan and those who do his bidding. Those who are corrupted by greed, envy, and pride. You must not lose faith, whatever life brings. Fate has not been merciful to me, and my husband either. Although in comparison to the horrors you went through. I was young when I married my husband. It was my father's wish. Divish was a lot older than I, but a woman must bear her lot. Shortly after our marriage, before I even got a look at Talmberg, the castle was stormed and my husband was imprisoned.
Really?
My husband had some quarrel with Sir Havel Medek of Valdek, who decided to resolve it by force. He stormed the castle, burned down the village of Pribyslavitz, and killed many of our men, even the old chamberlain. He imprisoned my husband in the castle and put his own garrison there.
That's awful.
I was barely 18 years old, and all of a sudden, I was left alone with Sir Robert. We didn't know what to do. We went to Prague to appeal to the king and sought help from Divish's friends, but all to no avail. We tried for years, but it seemed I was destined to be left alone and my husband to rot in jail in his own castle.
Years, you say?
7 years. That's how long it took before Havel was condemned as an enemy of the crown. And even then, he refused to surrender the castle and release my husband. In the end, I raised the money to pay a ransom, and only then, by the grace of Lord Jesus, did I finally lay eyes on my husband once more.
7 years. And was Havel punished for it?
Never. And after 7 years, my husband returned to me an infirm old man.
Sir Divish seems like a good, strong man.
Certainly, only he has many concerns. He had to rebuild Talmberg. After he was released, the king appointed him Burgrave of Prague Castle, and he was very busy. He had no time for me at all. But at least we were in the city, and there was something going on. And now, we're here.
My lady, you're still young and beautiful. Your best years are still ahead of you.
Would that were true, lad. Would it were true. But what am I doing bothering you with this? You have troubles enough of your own. I'll go and let you sleep. I enjoyed our little talk, Henry. Good night, and God bless.
Good night, my lady.
Wake up. You don't want to miss this.
What is it? What's happening?
Come to the battlements. One of our patrols reported a company heading here from Skalitz.
Oh, I need a torch. Now, this is actually set up like a pretty good castle. So there's really only one entrance, and that's coming through here. Past the gate, here's the stairs up, and coming up this way would be a pain in the butt. There's not a lot of space. There's only one, and there's only a single line up. These battlements are actually the correct height. They are the height of people. And then you have kind of a notch you can step up on, and this area is angled down so you can shoot downward. These are designed amazingly. There's another door up here on the battlements.
Hey, you men down there. Tell the people outside the walls to prepare for attack. Quickly, do you understand?
You know what? I'm going to eat one of those. Just to keep everything...
What's going on?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Why would Sigismund advance on Talmberg in the night? Especially since he's lost the element of surprise after the raid on Skalitz.
Maybe it's not him.
Then who is it? The scouts Jivish sent to Skalitz to spy on Sigismund said he'd set up camp and was getting ready to storm the castle. And so Radzig is an experienced soldier. He'd surely hold the castle for quite some time. It doesn't make sense.
What else did the spies see?
Not much of anything. Before they could get close enough, this huge storm started. And you were right. Sigismund has a hell of a lot of soldiers, including all manner of mercenaries. An army like that costs a fortune. Well, anyway, we'll find out when they get here, won't we?
Aye, we will.
Take care.
Halt! Who goes there?
Lucifer and all his minions. Who else, Robber?
Sir Radzig. What a relief.
Is his lordship there with you?
Yes, sir. He is right here.
What are you doing up so late, Divish? At your age, you need a good night's sleep.
Well, Radzig, you didn't exactly pick the best time for an outing either. In a big hurry?
It was a bit of a scramble, all right. Believe it or not, this tempest is a godsend for me and my men. As my old granddad used to say, better a sore throat than a slit throat.
I'd say your grandfather was a wise man. Your messenger told us what happened.
Messenger?
The lad you sent to warn us.
He's alive? He made it to you?
He's here with me. He only got away by the skin of his teeth, though.
Thank God.
A brave young man. But tell me, friend, how on earth did you manage to get away?
Thank God for this tempest. When it began, Sigismund's Tatars crawled into their holes and left us storming the castle for more clement weather. We were able to sneak out right under their noses. The Lord be praised. We wouldn't have stood a chance against them.
Would you like to spend the night in Talmberg?
No, no. When Sigismund finds the castle empty tomorrow, he might come looking for us. We'd only be exposing you to danger. Without me and my men, he has no call to attack you.
What will you do then?
We'll march to Ratai. It's only a short way, and there we'll have a better chance of defense, and enough room for all of these people. If Sigismund should come, better bend your knee, Divish. There's no point dying in a battle that's futile.
You're right there.
Is that boy still with you?
I'm here, sir.
You have courage, lad. That I can't deny. I am sorry about what happened. Would you care to join us?
I'd like to, sir, but first I have to return to Skalitz.
Are you mad? What do you want there?
I can't leave my mother and father. I won't leave their corpses rotting in the street. I'll join you once I've taken care of them.
Don't even think of going back there, you donkey. Are you tired of living?
Sir!
Quiet! I'm sorry about your father, but getting killed as well won't help him. Divish, make sure that lad doesn't budge from Talmberg until things quieten down.
Not to worry, friend. Anyway, he's injured and needs to recover. I'll lock him up here as if he were Havel of Balding.
I've seen you've grown a thick skin since your tribulation, sir. But thank you. We'll meet again when circumstances are more favorable. Farewell.
Farewell, friend, and good fortune. Give my regards to Sir Hanush.
I will. And good luck to you and your people, too. These are dark times. Move out!
Anywhere, people! Move out! It's only a short way to Athe now!
Men, tonight we'll have triple patrols. Sort out the watches between you as always. And if I catch anyone boozing, playing dice or slacking off, I'll personally break every bone in his body. I want you to keep a close eye on everything nearby. Sigismund will surely have sent spies, and likely men as well, to follow the Skalitz people now he knows they've fled. Keep your eyes peeled, and report everything to me at once. Understood?
What is it you need?
I could use an extra pair of eyes. Yours are keen. Will you keep watch on the battlements with my men?
Is that a request or an order?
I'd rather it was a request you answered yes to.
Of course I'll help. I'll have to pay you back somehow after all you've done for me.
Splendid. And don't worry. I'll tell the men to relieve you later. Good luck to you.
Yep. Not exactly the best weather for keeping watch in, but like I said, these are a good design. And if you walk around this way, you'll see that there's good battlements along all the sides except for the front, where you actually have a working gatehouse. The gatehouse is through here, and you can see here this controls the portcullis, and these are set as counterweights. Now they did make one mistake, they don't have holes for the counterweights, but other than that, that's actually a pretty good job. It's a set of winches, and then if I go past there, it's a private area. If you're caught in a private area, people will get angry, so try not to. At least in this game, it actually tells you when you're in an area where you're not supposed to be. The rain doesn't really seem to do much of anything.
God be with you.
What do you think about the flight of the Skalitz folk?
I'd say Sir Rodzik is a fine lord. He made the most of it.
Wandering around like a stray sheep. Must be your first watch, eh? I don't think anything much will be happening today. You can just lean against the wall and wait till morning. I'll show you what's what.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah. So, only a couple hours. But you know what? First thing I'll do, nourishment 7 and 8. I'll eat another bread roll. And the lentil soup that I had. There, now I'm more nourished. And I'll wait till after sunup.
Move it! Quick! Go! Go! Ugh.
Now, I kind of like these battlements too. Narrow logs that have been put up that are over head height.
Jesus. We're gonna end up like scallops.
See how the self-appointed king wins the love and respect of his loyal subjects.
Indeed, Robard. Sigismund of Luxembourg has a rare talent for winning people over to his cause. We may be in for a surprise, though. I don't think he will set his heathen dogs on us today.
Greetings, Lord of Talmberg.
That's the bastard who led the attack at Scarlet and killed my parents.
Don't be an idiot. Do you want to end up like them?
I am Sir Markwart von Aulitz. I come in the name of Sigismund of Luxembourg, King of Hungary and Croatia, who has resolved to strike against those who disrupt concord in the land and to restore order in the name of his brother, King Wenceslaus IV.
Restore order by burning and pillaging the king's estates.
Greetings, Sir Markwart. The efforts of the king's brother to bring order to this chaotic land are undoubtedly noble. It seems to me, though, that he and his army have somewhat strayed. As Burgrave of Prague Castle, I am entirely beholden to the king, and here in Talmberg divine peace reigned until your arrival. To what then do we owe the honor of your visit?
Yesterday, His Majesty took action against the enemy of the kingdom, Sir Radzik Kobila, who has been using the silver from the Skalitz mine to fund insurrection against the crown. Unfortunately, the insurgent escaped. Would you happen to know, noble sir, where he might be at this time?
As far as I know, the Sir Radzik of which you speak is the king's hetman at Skalitz. I find it hard to imagine that he would rebel against our king. Nevertheless, I can assure you that Sir Radzik is not at Talmberg. He would be a fool indeed to flee from one castle, where he has little chance of defense, to another, where he has even less. Or do you take the view that my humble manner is any obstacle to your army?
Am I to inform the king then that Sir Radzik Kobila is not at Talmberg and that he has your loyalty?
Sir Radzik Kobila is not here, and I have no intentions of getting embroiled in affairs from which I have nothing to gain.
Very well, sir. As you wish. I will relay your words to the king in the hope he will be as well disposed as you seem to be.
Those who have clean consciences and goodwill may find themselves well disposed even at moments like this, when there is little cause for joy. Farewell, sir.
Auf Wiedersehen.
My lord, you have my utmost admiration.
Get on with you, Robard.
some repairs to be done. I don't know why that didn't go into a keychain, but oh well. It's Radzig's longsword. Still need to find Cobbler's thing. Guess where these 2 arrows came from? Yep, if you said from me, you're right. Whenever you get hit with an arrow, there is actually a case where it will be part of your inventory. Now, the battlements here are actually kind of interesting because they are what you would see in a lot more places. Instead of using stone, which is honestly kind of expensive to put in, what you have is they put 2 log walls and filled it in with dirt. And then they raised battlements above it that are high enough that it'll protect you from things like arrows. And then they have basically watch houses with narrow windows that you can use to fire upon people who are approaching. If they were up along that hill, you'd shoot, scoot behind here, come back out, shoot again, and keep scooting. This is, by this point in time, very well-packed earth. There are some vegetables here. You'll find gardens all over the place. But you can see that, they didn't, it's not really using stone. Then you have your lookouts and combat arena. And then there's a bunch of villagers.
Whatever it is.
That'd be a shame.
And so what's going on here is they have what's called an outer bailey and an inner bailey. The outer bailey is just, the outer defended area. Then they have an inner defended area. Now for this outer bailey, here is a winch set for that gate there. So somebody would come in here, turn the winch, and bring up the thing. Now I can jump down from here. You can hurt yourself if you jump down far enough. And here's the gate. There are some houses and a few other things. No.
Good health to you.
Can we trade?
If you've got the coin. Farewell.
So he has stuff to buy. He has a torch. He has some food. The thing that's really important, though, is he has lockpicks. Now, I have enough wealth to buy at least 1 or 2. But what I am going to do now is go, okay, I'm not going to sell him the bandages. I'm not going to sell him the tailor's kit. But I have the chamomile, all the nettles, the sage, St. John's wort, and the valerian. Then that'll get me another 10. So now I can buy I don't have quite enough for 3. So I'll go to the basket. I'll remove one of them. So now I have enough to pay for everything. So I'll haggle with this guy.
I'd like to discuss the price.
Sure, why not?
Are we agreed?
That's not enough.
It's all the same to me who sits on the throne.
See now, I knew we'd come to an agreement.
Then it's better to have Wenceslas. You won't see him marauding with foreign mercenaries and pillaging towns like Sigismund has.
True enough. Ever since Sigismund conquered.
And most of these buildings here seem to be storage or others. that is somebody's house. If I stayed in there and somebody noticed, it could cause problems. But, you know, you have enough people to hide out with there and enough storage that you can keep people in here for at least a little while. Sir Robard.
My respects to you.
Why did Sigismund burn down Skalitz and then come here too?
That's war for you, lad. Certain lords have resolved to take things into their own hands and eliminate anyone who doesn't share their view. Unfortunately, Sir Radzig is one of those. And what's more, he was sitting on a pile of silver that could help King Wenceslas's allies.
What happened in Kuttenberg?
Kuttenberg? Well, I'm just a simple soldier, but the good Lord gave me ears. And I've heard some things from Sir Divish and from those who fled.
So Robard's actually wearing a pretty good kit.
Indeed. But it was the Kuttenberg mercenaries who came to see me, because I knew them from before.
I see.
He's wearing basically
Listen,
a
lad,
type of
these are all games of the high aristocracy.
a type
In
of
Prague,
brigandine on
a
his
cabal of
arms
nobles
with
rebelled
the extra
against
metal
King
plates for
Wenceslas. Wealthy
his
aristocrats who
pauldrons
took against
and
our
his
king for reasons of their
comps,
own.
which are the elbows.
There's no doubt Sigismund
He
had his
has good
fingers in the whole
gauntlets.
affair.
He's wearing
Him
a
and
chain
Wenceslas's
mantle,
cousin, Jobst.
and
that
which
cabal
basically
helped him abduct
protects like
the
his
king.
neck
So then why
and
did
upper
Sigismund
shoulders.
attack
He
Kuttenberg?
puts his
Why do you
breast place over that. Now you can see the
I suppose because it has a strategic position and good fortifications, so it can be used as a base for raids, giving you control of the whole territory and good defences too, if you need them.
Not at all. King Charles, may God grant him eternal glory, built Prague into a proper royal city, while King Wenceslas took a liking to Kuttenberg. After Prague, it's the most important city in Bohemia, in the entire Holy Roman Empire. He who commands the Kuttenberg silver is king.
So Kuttenberg sided with Wenceslas because he favoured it?
Now you're starting to understand. When Sigismund imprisoned Wenceslas and took control of Prague, the people of Kuttenberg began to raise an army against him. So with the attack on Kuttenberg, Sigismund killed two birds with one stone. He defeated Wenceslas's most powerful allies before they could stand against him, and also gained immense wealth.
Where did these humans come from anyway?
I don't know much about them, only what the Chamberlain said, that they came to Hungary from the east and settled there. They're godless barbarians and merciless fighters. The nobles used to say the Hungarian king shouldn't enlist them, because they dishonor our rules of warfare. But when there's power and money to be had, it seems that honor isn't worth my spit. And believe me, it's always about power and money.
I do like that a lot of the explanation of politics and everything comes from within the game.
So Robard, I need to get to Skalitz.
What would you do there, lad? Sigismund might have left, but the place will be swamped with robber barons, brigands, deserters, and other vermin. And anyway, your lord commanded you to stay here.
My parents died there, and I won't leave them to be ravaged by dogs. I have to bury them.
Good God, boy. Do you want to throw your life away for those who can never get theirs back? Do you think that's what they'd want? Forget it.
I wonder if I can get... Yeah, no, I can't do anything else with him. Later on in the game, he becomes a trainer, and you can train with him. He teaches you mace and a few other things. Let's see. Actually, I should check to see how my skills are. Because I've been... I got some more skills. Let's see. My maintenance skills up to 3. So... I can increase my charisma by laundering my clothes. But the 7-mile boots are really good once you start repairing your own boots. And all you really need is a cobbler's kit. I just don't have one right now because I couldn't afford one before I left. But I will pick up the 7-mile boots. That will be good. I don't have anything else I can do with that right now. Now, during the fights, my sword's almost to 1, but I took up my unarmored almost to unarmed, almost a 2, by fighting Kunesh. But my warfare and defense went up, and warfare and defense go up as you're fighting. Defense, whenever you do a good defense, that happens, and then warfare is kind of an overall fighting thing. You actually like that because it has some interesting perks you can pick up. Greater chance of bleeding. You have a chance of poisoning people even if you don't have it, if your weapon's really banged up. You get bonuses. This one, against all odds, is probably one of the best ones you can get when your warfare is high enough. Getting a 20% bonus to your strength, agility, warfare, and defense when you're outnumbered is big, and you are often outnumbered in this game. Defense, causes you to cause more stamina damage when they block. When you win in a clinch, you do better. Your armor makes you more frightening. If you're in a bunch of plate armor, you get a charisma bonus. And then this is another one that's really useful. Basically making everything you're wearing, all the armor you're wearing, a third lighter, which is really, really good. Now, from the stats, you get kind of the same thing. You get bonuses to trading, bonuses in dealing with nobles, bonuses in dealing with commoners. You can learn what their opponent's skills are. Your speech gets bonus when haggling. You're really good at dealing with women. You make more money from merchants. There's a lot of different ones, and charisma is kind of, no, there's nothing that happens in it. Strength. Clinch Master is kind of nice, but really, when you hit that point, you want to take Mule so you can carry more weight. This is an interesting one to get with Boar, because you can just run into somebody and hurt them. The problem is that you can't turn it on and off. So if you're running through the town and you accidentally bump into a just a regular civilian, you can start a fight and get a bunch of guards running after you. Everything has, each of these skills is going to do something interesting. One that I always laugh at for herbalism is this one. Picking herbs adds to your strength stat because, well, you spend a lot of time going up and down. You can sell them for more, but really, that one's kind of eh. They don't sell for much on the beginning. Just about all the skills, except for a few, have things that you can unlock. With the sword, with any of the weapon skills, what you unlock is actually combinations. And you can learn how to use combinations a little bit later in the game. So now I have to figure out a way out. Now you notice that now it's kind of open-ended. There's no real, oh yeah, you can go here, because now you're kind of doing the free form, figuring out what you're going to do next. Having a wooden extension on top of your stone battlements is called a hoarding, and they would be quite common, and this is actually a good place to have one. Now, they don't technically have a moat, they just have a drop-off, but it's down low enough that even if troops were to come into this little gully between the two things, if this drawbridge was up, it'd be near impossible for them to get through. And then this is the line right here for the portcullis. And then here, well, that's interesting. I would have expected it to be open so you could dump stuff on people. But, hey, what do I know? one of the interesting things about how these buildings are, I'll open this up, because, you know, kitchen, oh, dining room, kitchen, this is storage, I stay out of there, servants' quarters, the actual kitchen, and I can start lockpicking stuff if nobody's watching, because this person's here, so I wouldn't try to lockpick. I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for picking up the cheese. No, I'm not going to get in trouble picking up some cheese and some bread rolls. Lentil mash. I'll grab a couple apples too. But you notice there's no stairs inside. I don't know how common this is for something like for Czechoslovakian castles from this time period, but you go to the outside. If I go in here, private area, and you notice that door, that's the door that leads out to the battlements. And now we'll come up here, and we've got kind of the upstairs. You got a chest, a guard, doors. I can come in here and not be. And then we have a little shrine, a very hard locked door, and then this is actually how you'd have old-fashioned glass. You can't really make it big, so one of the reasons why they had so much of the leading to make is to fit the little pieces together. And yeah, it would distort that much. And this is about the time they started figuring out that if you when you were making the glass, if you added a few things into it, you could change the color. Again, more of those battlements. And a tower. There are horses there. Yeah, I can't go in there right now because of the guards. But you can see they have a really good overlook. And it's a second layer above the first. So not only do they have one good overlook, they have two. But that means that they can line up their archers along here under the hoardings and there behind the battlements and can all shoot down. Now, depending upon how many people they have, they may not have enough people to fill it, but if there's a force just on one side, everybody can rush to this side and put out a tremendous amount of fire that they'd actually be fairly protected by. The staircase is nice. It has your nice covering, and then you'll notice that now this is a castle wall, but it looks like there's plaster on it. It's probably actually whitewashing and daub to give it a cleaner look. Dressed-faced stone by itself was generally not done in the medieval ages. It's only kind of a what was left behind kind of thing, where the whitewashing and plaster wears off really easily, whereas the stone and the mortar holding it together are a lot more robust. It's just a little storage place. Rooms. Here's the room I've got. Nothing extra in this room. I can go back to sleep if I want to. But now, I have to figure out a way to get out of here. So the first thing you have to do is start talking to people. Sir Divisher's horse. I can try to steal that horse, Actually, I can try to steal a lot of them. But now I can inspect the horses. So you can see you have a speed, capacity, courage, and stamina. Courage represents how easy it is to control when there's thunder, when there's fighting, things like that. Stamina is pretty self-explanatory. Speed and capacity also self-explanatory. So this is Divish's horse. I can't even steal Divish's horse. I can inspect Robard's. Robard doesn't actually have that good of a horse. So, you know, you've got speed, you've got capacity, and everything else. So, what do? First thing we have to do, we have a villager there, the guard. I think we have to talk to somebody. But who do we talk to? Now, you got here, if I open this up, as soon as I go inside, I'm in a private area. I'm not going to stay in there because that will cause an issue. And the Chamberlain, he doesn't talk. Can't lockpick. Well, I don't have sufficient lockpicking skill to lockpick that. Are there any guards up here right now? Yeah, there's one or two. But they're not going to tell me much of anything. Actually, let's check the map. So now, this is kind of nice. Whenever you're inside a city, it switches to a city map. And so anything that you've gotten close enough to, it'll mark it as an unexplored place, or if you see it. But until you get close enough, you can't actually tell. Now, all this area, I rode down. So that all shows up on the map. Same with here. This is where so this is where you come out. This is where you come down. This is Teresa's place, and this is where you get the horse. You ride down this path. You go through Rovna, and then down this road here. So, any place that you are, it clears the cloud of war. And yeah, it's how you draw clouds. And then each city kind of shows how well you're respected there. And then you have just art for areas you haven't been yet, which is pretty common in medieval maps. So it makes it actually quite a good setup, and making the UI a lot more historically accurate, even though it's a UI for a video game. Again, a good detail on the fact that you have this, you have the layered armor, you have the differing layers that fit on top of everything. So he's got a kettle helm, he's got a mail coif, and he's probably got a padded coif underneath that. Another set of type of brigandine, and you actually see some dents in it, which means it's kind of used. He has that same Waffenfrock over his armor, and that's mostly just to show who he's aligned with. You'd want something like that to show allegiance. And they're simple to make. They're not a tabard. Tabards are something specific, which these are not. He's got on a fighting jacket type of padded coat, similar to a gambeson. And, they put in flagstones. And here, much like the Outer Bailey, this area is probably 2 stone walls with dirt filled in between them to keep them, cheaper to build. Whatever else, using a whole bunch of stone is expensive. Where is is Lady Stephanie? She's one of the people you want to talk to. You have the villager. You have the cook. You can buy stuff from the cook. I mean, you can. Right now, it's kind of pointless. I mean, more storage. Stable. You can't really clean yourself off entirely until you find a bathhouse. Bathhouses are common in the bigger towns. Where is somebody? Okay, here's Lady Stephanie.
God save. Can I help you with anything?
My lady, I hope you weren't unduly distressed by the arrival of Sigismund's army this morning.
Well, it was to be expected. And thanks to God's mercy and my good husband, there was no more bloodshed. But it's something else that distresses me. Maybe my mind deceives me. But I have an evil foreboding.
You, my lady? Surely not. No evil could possibly come to you.
I fear something bigger and worse will come. That Sigismund is only another omen of imminent evil. Of great evil.
I would like to ask your assistance, my lady, if I may be so bold.
What's the matter, lad?
I need to get out of the castle, and your husband is keeping me here by force.
Why, for the love of God, would you want to leave the castle?
So, now that it's not on a time frame, now you can see the different numbers there. You have your speech, you have your charisma, and you have your basically intimidation, and that corresponds to the icon next to it. Right now, it looks like I have a fairly good charisma compared to hers, and a fairly good speech compared to hers. I'm going to do the speech because you can actually increase speech by making speech checks.
Are lying in the mud of Skalitz at the
Whereas
mercy of
charisma
dogs
increases
and
by
jackdaws.
you finding
I can't
stuff.
just leave them there.
That's terrible. May the Lord have mercy on their souls. But how can I help you, Henry? I don't want your death on my conscience.
If I could just get past the guard at the gate somehow.
But you can. If you wear a proper suit of armor, and if he can't see your face, he won't recognize you, and he'll let you go.
Good thinking. Well, they'll certainly ask where I'm going.
You could tell them Sir Robard sent you to Ujitz, to ask the parish priest how the folk there are faring.
That sounds reasonable. It's rather embarrassing, but if I'm to pay a bribe, I need money. Unfortunately, I don't have any.
How would you? Don't worry your head about it. This should be enough.
Thank you, my lady. I will repay you, I swear. And where can I get the armor?
At the armory?
Where's that?
In the gate tower. But the soldiers sleep in other places around the castle too, and you might find armor nearby.
Thank you, my lady. I must go now.
Good luck then.
Alright, so, in doing that, I'm going to call it here. It's been about 2 hours. When I come back, I will get set and do my breakout. The first couple episodes of this, there's going to be a lot of cutscenes as you start dealing with a lot of the main. You got to set up part of the main quest. Once you get through a decent portion of it, it then switches down to you being okay. Now you get to go out and do the open world thing. Then you start picking up side quests, and there are a lot of side quests in this game. I'll probably be doing a lot of cuts during that because a good portion of doing those things is finding the place you need to go. Also, once I find myself a shovel, when I'm near places I remember or places that I can buy the maps for, I will do some treasure hunting, and you can find some interesting stuff there. But until then, thank you for watching me, and have a good day. Goodbye.